Buenos dias to this lazy Sunday where we're seeing a green close of the week, as it seems, which is good to see. And we also see 3 coins trending here on CoinGecko, for which you might be eligible for an airdrop. So we have the WEN token, which is part of the Solana ecosystem. But if you have used Jupiter, then you might be eligible for that, and you might have used it if you got your PITH airdrop from back in the days, which you also got for being an active Cosmos user. Alt layer also, which we're still getting for being TIA stakers, and this is absolutely crazy. 44 cents pretty much. This is a higher market cap now than Manta network. Manta at $3.63, but alt layer is at a $4.4 billion fully diluted valuation, and 0.3% of the supply will be airdropped for TIA stakers. We don't know details yet, but it's going to be interesting. Snapshot was January 17th, so keep an eye on that, put it on your watch list, bookmark that project. Now, I want to talk about a couple of spotlight projects in the Cosmos ecosystem for the week, for the month, at least for the short term, because I think there's a lot that's coming. Firstly, Akash network, which is a leader when it comes to the crossover of DePIN, which stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks, and AI. And those two are also some of the hottest narratives for this cycle, at least some of the most talked about narratives. And Akash Network is a decentralized super cloud that is made in Cosmos, trading at $3 right now. I told you guys I bought a lot of AKT in the bear market around 20-25 cents. And also to really assess and evaluate how Akash technology is actually being used. Akash Network is also one of the few non-finance related use cases of blockchain and Cosmos technology. But you can also go here on cloudmos.io and you'll see all the stats here, blockchain related stuff, but also their resources and their leases that they have. And if you click here on graph, you can see this insane chart on the weekly, on the monthly, up only, and the all-time chart, which is crazy. We're at 1,323 leases, and this is just through the roof here. But in that context, also, I keep telling you this, guys, watch out for PASG. PASG is the Metaverse play in Cosmos, and they have a lot of announcements coming up. I'm a private investor in that project, and I'm very, very close with the team. I always, have chats with them to get the hottest and latest updates, and they have a close partnership with Akash Network. They're powered by Unreal Engine 5, and a lot of companies that I talk to also outside of crypto are very interested to learn about that project, right? Because it is just a niche. I think Metaverse is a narrative and a category that is currently very cold, but it will have a huge comeback. 1,000,000% in my view, it will have a huge comeback. So it might make sense to position yourself today in those plays, in those narratives, before they really blow up, right? So that's my second coin, spotlight coin for today, for the week, for the month. Then we have Archway, which is a not as much talked about project in Cosmos. It's a permissionless smart contract platform, Cosmos-enabled smart contract platform that also has built-in developer incentives. $18 right now. I think that implies a $180 million valuation. I think the total supply is also 1 billion coins. You can actually verify that here if you go on assets. You can see that, total supply 1,059 million. Why do I say Archway? Well, because they have the launch of Astrovault, which is the native DEX on Archway. I actually did an interview with Eric, who is, I think, the founder or at least the main guy behind Astrovault, on their channel. So they interviewed me around a year ago, but very, very cool guy, and he understands a lot about the dynamics and the DEX ecosystem. They also have built their own launchpad, their own gamified launchpad called Outbid. And this is how it looks like. I personally have not participated also in this Outbid sale that's currently going on. And I don't advise you to do this right now, but I think it's good to understand that there's a lot of stuff coming. There's a new generation of applications coming to Cosmos, and Astrovault and Archway are definitely the newer generation of Cosmos DeFi and smart contract platforms. So 5.4 million in liquidity here, 6.27 million in monthly volume, and you can see it's been nicely increasing here over the past year. So this is definitely one to also bookmark and to keep an eye on. And if you want to check out Outbid, you can do it here. They already raised almost 200K. I think by the time you're watching this video, the sale is already over because there's only 47K left. So I think that will sell out within a couple of hours. Another chain in Cosmos that is actually very much talked about is Noble. Noble is a proof of authority layer 1 blockchain that doesn't have its own token, and it has kind of a closed set of validators. In fact, with Stexito, we're one of them, but there's only 20 validators, and you see this is just like dummy tokens here. So right now, Noble doesn't have APR, no price, no token. It is a standalone permissioned blockchain in that sense, but they have just reached a huge milestone, which is $100 million in native USDC issued. It just went below 100 million, but it was over 100 million earlier today. And Noble is currently ranked 8, just behind Polygon, $30 million away, which is not as much anymore, right? And it's just been growing rapidly over the past couple of months. So definitely want to put on your watch list. Also, why? Because there needs to be some move in the short midterm, right? There needs to be some move. So either they move to use Cosmos Hub shared security to become Atom secure, to fully align with Atom, which could be the case once partial set security launches, or they launch their own token, or they deploy somewhere else and they migrate somewhere else, which I think is the least probable outcome. I think it's going to be between migrating to be Atom secured or launching their own token. I personally don't actually know what is the next move here, but I think something needs to happen, because also about validator sustainability, right? Like right now we're all running these validators at cost, where we have expenses and cost to pay, infrastructure cost, but there's no incentive, right? So yeah, we have to see what's going to be the next move here. Another project is, of course, Osmosis, which also I feel like it's not as much talked about these days, even though they should be much more talked about. And Osmosis is the flagship DEX in Cosmos. They have reached some incredible stats here. Q4, outstanding quarter for Osmosis. Takeoff fees reached $2.1 million in revenue. Swap fees, 218,000. Skips MEV bot, basically, that has generated 517,000 US dollars. And that's impressive, right? And you can also go on the Osmosis stats page here, and you'll see $200 million in liquidity. 13% is currently the staking APR, and the total volume on the DEX has been 28 billion US dollars since its inception. So yeah, I'm very bullish on Osmosis, especially here at those levels. I always said below $1 is an absolute steal. It's an absolute no-brainer in my opinion. But considering that the all-time high was at $12 and right now we're at $1.60, there's still huge upside. Now, before I answer some questions, I want to talk about the coin of the day, and that is Picasso PICA, the IBC Hub in Cosmos, the interoperability terminal in Cosmos, bringing IBC everywhere. And the big day has arrived, because PICA is now launching restaking for Solana. Picasso is the eigenlayer for Solana, and they're launching their restaking vaults today. And the way they launch this is actually in a gamified way, because they have these vaults where you can deposit Sol, G2Sol, M-Sol, and B-Sol. And there is a whole campaign around it called Mantis, which is all explained in this article here. So it's basically bridge wars, and you can become part of a team. And the more is being bridged from you and your team, the more you will potentially earn. Keep an eye out for that. I think Picasso is still undervalued, 1.8 cents, which implies a fully diluted valuation of 184 million US dollars. They also just announced that they are reducing their validator set from 100 to 48, which has already happened, because they also have a revenue share for the bridging fees, 20% of which are shared amongst the stakers, the PICA stakers. And over the past 30 days, this has amounted to 2 million PICA over to be distributed across the stakers. And if you want to stake your PICA, you can come here on app.trustless.zone, and you can click here on stake. You'll see 9.76%, and you can click here. It will redirect you to Leap Wallet. So PICA is definitely one to put on your watch list, especially if you're bullish on IBC adoption and this whole interoperability and modularity and restaking as a narrative. Before I let you go, I want to answer a few questions here. One of them here from Mati Ace Gaming, who asks whether we are having any plans to activate auto-compounding on our Cosmos validator. And we're actually getting this question a lot since a long time. And we are still evaluating it, or now re-evaluating it again. But in the past, we just had concerns around the legal perspective and regulation, because what mostly happens with these restaking tools is that you are asking, so the validator is asking the delegator to grant authority so that you can compound the rewards on behalf of your delegator. So, you know, that's kind of sensitive, I guess, like a gray zone from a legal perspective. And yeah, that's why we have kind of not implemented this yet, but we get so much demand for this, so we actually might do that. You can compound right now through evmos, which is doing it in a different fashion, at least as far as I understand. Another validator related question from John Valatos here. Hi Sito, can you please talk about running a validator on Cosmos? What is required, any validators to look at now if just starting? So if you want to start a validator, I think the best you can do first is to think about, how do I position myself? Do I focus on creating content, education? Do I focus more on back-end technological contributions, like running relayer infrastructure, RPC infrastructure? Do I look at those things? And then which chains am I really, really keen to join as a validator, right? Because to be honest, existing chains like, you know, even Osmosis, the entry to get into as a validator is very, very high. So Osmosis, it's 190,000 Osmo that is required to be an active set, because only active validators are earning rewards, staking rewards and commissions. So that is 300 something thousand dollars that are required. If you look at Atom, the entry barrier for validating on Atom and to be in the active set is 51,000 atoms. And at a price of, let's say, $10, that's 500,000 atoms, $500,000 that is required in delegations or in your self bond. So you can either buy and delegate to yourself, or you have enough people that are delegating more than 51,000 atoms to your node. But yeah, this is also, I guess, only going to rise over time. So this is Atom, and actually the most extreme one is TIA, Celestia. TIA has 100 validators, and the the entry barrier is 370,000 TIA, which at a price of $17, that is $6-7 million, $5-6-7 million, something like that. So you need a lot of capital to get into these big chains, or a lot of like huge whale delegations to get in. Or you say, okay, I want to focus on an upcoming chain, something that I'm very bullish on, and I want to get in touch early with the foundation, with the core team behind, and I have a value offering that I want to contribute to the chain, to the product, right, to the project, whether that's backend infrastructure, whether that's helping with onboarding users, content, or whatever. But yeah, you need to have a solid game plan and contribute as much as possible. And I think if you have one or two successful chains that you're validating on, you start to build your own brand. And I think from there you can expand. So that would be my advice. And obviously you need to have a very legit, experienced person to run the tech, because it's very sensitive. It's very dangerous also if you don't really know what you're doing. So I'm blessed to have a very strong CTO who has been doing this for many years now. And yeah, we have a strong DevOps team. There's also Cosmos native. So yeah, this is really the most important thing, to have a strong tech team, to have a strong game plan and a value proposition, and also to position yourself with your validator in the right chains at the right time. Now I want to direct you to the Stixito YouTube channel on this lazy Sunday, where you can just tune into this 38-minute interview with Liam and Yair from Lava Network, which is an important infrastructure network in Cosmos, focuses on RPC infrastructure. And this project is important, and you need to hear about it. You need to know about it. They're actually also launching as a Cosmos Layer 1 blockchain. And that's all I will say. So go watch that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe and be good.